Welcome to the Artificial Intelligence in Action seminar series. I am Khalid Niazi, Associate Professor of Pathology and Biomedical Engineering at Ohio State University. It's my pleasure to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Dr. Yashbir Singh. Dr. Singh is an Assistant Professor of Radiology at Mayo Clinic, specializing in AI and topological data analysis for medical imaging. He holds a PhD in biomedical engineering from Taiwan on a Taiwanese government scholarship and completed a DAAD fellowship in Germany. Dr. Singh develops AI algorithms for early cancer detection and disease biomarker identification with recognition including RSNA Research Award 2024 and multiple society distinctions for its innovative computational approaches to medical image interpretation. So today he will talk about his research in AI. Dr. Singh, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction, Dr. Niazi. Well, good morning, everyone. So thank you so much for joining me today. So let me just start with the question, how many of you have ever looked at the medical images and wonder what might be hiding in the plain sight? So today I am going to share with you my research. More importantly, that I will show you how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing our ability to detect these hidden threats. Over the past several years, my team and I have been developing AI systems that can literally see what the human eye cannot. So I'm just going to relate with the story that just imagine Sarah, a 45-year-old mother of two. She's been living with the primary sclerotic cholangitis for 5 years. Every year she gets her MRI scan, hoping for a good news. Her radiologist, one of the best in the field, reviews her images carefully. Everything looks stable. See you next year, he says. But what if I told you that hidden in those very same images Sarah's radiologist examined, there were warning signs of early cancer that even expert eyes could not detect. Signs that, if caught, could have changed everything for Sarah. This is not a science fiction. This is likely happening right now in the hospital around the world. And today I'm going to show you how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing medical imaging by seeing what we have been missing all along. So let me start with this shocking statistics that should keep every radiologist awake night. 50% of early stage peripheral cholangiocarcinoma cases are missed by experts, radiologists. So think about that for the moment. We are talking about some of the most skilled medical professionals in the world using the most advanced imaging technology available. And they are missing half of these critical early stage cancer. But this is not just about the statistics. This is about the real people like Sarah. Because when we miss these early cases, we are not just missing a diagnosis, we are missing the only window where we can actually save lives. So primary sclerotic cholangitis affects up to 60 people per 100,000 globally. That might sound rare, but when 10 to 15% of these patients develop cholangiocarcinoma, and when 65% of those patients die within 1 year of diagnosis, we are talking about the silent epidemic. The number of staggering, like 65% mortality within 1 year, leading cause of death in PSC patients, over 2 billion in economic burden annually in the US alone. Every one of these statistics represent families destroyed, dream cut short, and potential that will never be realized. And the most heartbreaking part, many of these deaths could be prevented if we could just see what's hiding in the plain sight. So what are we doing about this crisis? Let me just walk you through our current standard of care and why it is failing us. We start with the annual MRI and MRCP surveillance, state-of-art imaging that produce incredibly detailed picture of the liver and bile ducts. Then we look at biomarkers like CA199. Sounds promising, right? But here is the problem. CA199 has a sensitivity range of just 13 to 78%. That's like flipping a coin to determine if someone has a cancer. When we suspect something, like we move to tissue diagnosis. Biliary brushings gives us 13 to 50% sensitivity. FIS testing perform better than 65%, but we are still missing 1 in 3 cases. And here is the cruel irony. Our best treatment so far is a liver transplantation. That only works for the early stage disease. But by the time we are confident enough in our diagnosis to recommend it, most patients are already at advanced, incurable stage. We have the tool, we have the expertise, we have the dedication, but we are fighting this battle with one hand tied behind our back, because the human eye, no matter how expert, simply cannot see everything that's there. The good news is the world-leading health organization recognized this crisis. The WHO identifies liver disease as the 11th leading cause of death globally. The NIH has invested over 600 million in AI medical imaging research between 2020 to 2024, and the NHS has launched an initiative to implement AI in radiology by 2025. But why AI? Why now? So let me just introduce you the game changer, the convolution neural network. These are not your typical computer programs. They are systems that can process 3D image data and learn complex pattern automatically. Patterns that the human brain simplify is not wired to detect. So our 3D DenseNet architecture analyzes the entire image volume without requiring a manual segmentation. Think of it like this, where a human radiologist might look at 100 of individual slides, can try to piece together the story. Our system, our AI system, sees the complete three-dimensional images. We trained this system on thousands of MRI scans using 5-fold cross-validation to ensure the reliability. But here is what makes this truly revolutionary. We did not just create another diagnostic tool. We created a system that consistently outperformed expert radiologists in the most challenging cases. So now let me just share about the results will fundamentally change how you think about medical diagnosis. So we studied like the 398 patients whom had like the peripheral cholangiocarcinoma, and we pitted out our AI system against expert radiologists in head-to-head comparison. So our AI system caught nearly 9 out of 10 cancers, while expert radiologists caught only 5 out of 10. But here is the most remarkable finding. Our AI detected 91.6% of non-mass forming cancer, the most challenging cancer that are virtually invisible to the human eyes. So let me just walk you through how this works. We start with this multi-center retrospective study of early stage cholangiocarcinoma. The patients were listed for the liver transplant. The MRI images are fed into our developed 3D DenseNet 121 model that analyzes every pixels, every relationship, every subtle pattern. The deep learning model is then validated in separate test cohort, and then evaluated against expert radiologists. So these results speaks for themselves. Even when we exclude mass-forming tumor that are easier to spot, our AI maintains superior sensitivity. So just remember, Sarah from our opening story, with this technology, her hidden cancer would have been detected a year earlier when treatment could still save her life. But we did not stop at detection. We ask ourselves, what if we could predict disease progression before it happens? So we developed first deep learning model specifically for primary sclerotic cholangitis. So we just think about like kind of, and we receive this we receive the results very wildest, like the per hour, like the wildest expectation, like AUROC we receive like the 0.89 for our baseline model, and median prediction time 1.5, like year before the event. Just think about that, like kind of what this means clinically. We can now identify patients who will experience hepatic decompensation a full year and half before it happens. So this transforms our entire approach. Like early intervention becomes possible, transplant timing can be optimized, and patients' outcome dramatically improve. So also the p-values across various patients group demonstrate statistically significant difference that allows us to stratify with the unprecedented accuracy. We are not just diagnosing the disease anymore. We are predicting the future. So now just let me introduce you this something truly revolutionary. That's topological data analysis. Imagine if you could analyze the actual shape of the disease, is just not just what it looks like, but its fundamentals, geometrical structure. That's exactly what TDA does. So TDA analyzes the geometrical pattern in the in data using a metric independent approach. It captures the hidden structure that traditional method miss entirely. Through persistent homology, we track topological feature and create a barcode for imaging features. Here is why that is matter. Like it works, it works really good with the small data. The features are very explainable, and it reveals pattern invisible to both human eyes. I'm sorry. It reveals the pattern invisible to both human eyes and traditional AI. Look at this workflow. We take medical images and extract topological features, create a persistent barcode and persistent diagram, and these reveals the fundamental geometrical signature of the disease. It's like having a mathematical fingerprint of pathology. When we combine TDA with the radiomics for the body composition analysis, results were nothing short of extraordinary. Our system automatically segment tissue type and extract over 100 radiomics features for decompensation prediction. We achieve like approx 97%, and AUC we received 97% as well. These are not just impressive numbers, they just represent near perfect clinical performance. We can now predict patients' outcome with the virtual certainty based on the tissue pattern that were completely invisible before. The fundamental insight is profound. Tissue patterns predict outcome. The shape and the distribution of the different tissue type contains prognostic information that we never knew existed. This is not just a research, it's already changing lives in the clinical practice. So current implementation includes like Mayo Clinic PSC surveillance program, Norway multi-center validation, and Toronto Center of Liver Disease. We have integrated this into actual clinical workflow with the automated image analysis, real-time risk stratification, clinical decision support. So patients like Sarah now have their scan automatically analyzed within a minute of completion. High-risk cases are flagged immediately, and clinical teams received real-time alert for early intervention. Of course, revolutionary changes does not come without challenges. Computational requirement and definitely data standardization and multi-site validation, and also the clinical challenges that involves regulatory approval, building clinicians trust, integration with the existing packs and the EMR system. But we are actively addressing these through cloud-based processing of computational efficiency, explainable AI interface that build clinical confidence, standardized protocol for multi-site implementation. So looking ahead, we are entering the era of next generation diagnostic that combined imaging, genomics, and clinical data for the personalized risk prediction. So multi-model integration that includes the extension to the other liver disease like the NAFLD and the hepatocellular carcinoma, and real-time surgical guidance, treatment response monitoring, and what are the AI advancement through? That's self-supervised learning, federated learning across the other institution. We are just not improving the diagnosis. We are reimagining the medicine itself. So let me just bring this full circle by the returning to the Sarah's story. With the traditional imaging, Sarah's cancer went undetected until it was too late. But in our new reality, the reality we are creating right now, Sarah's stories has a different ending. Her annual MRI is processed by our AI systems within a minute, and the algorithm detects subtle pattern invisible to human eyes. The 91.6% sensitivity for non-mass forming cancers means Sarah's hidden tumor is caught early. She receives a transplant while the cancer is still treatable. She celebrates her daughter's graduation, walks her son down the aisle, and becomes the grandmother she was meant to be. This technology is not just about the cholangiocarcinoma, it's about the fundamentally change how we approach the medical diagnosis. We are moving from a world where we react to disease to one where we predict and prevent it. The future of the medicine is being written right now. In research labs or clinical trials around the world, AI is not replacing radiologists, it is making them superhuman. It is giving them the ability to see the invisible, predict the unpredictable, and save lives that would otherwise be lost. The question is not whether AI will transform medical imaging, whether you will be a part of that transformation. Will you be among the pioneers who embrace these tools to serve patients better? Will you help the bridge the gap between the what we have always done and what we could be doing? Because somewhere out there is another Sarah's getting her annual scan, and thanks to the work we are doing here, her story does not have to end the same way. The hidden patterns are waiting to be discovered, and the early cancers are waiting to be caught, and the lives are waiting to be saved. All we have to do is open our eyes and let AI help us see. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yashbir, for the nice presentation. Any questions? Dr. Gurjan has a question.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Singh, for a nice presentation. So this system is already deployed at Mayo Clinic, right?
Yeah, so we are kind of working in the internal deployment. But
yeah, you touched upon the regulatory aspects. Can you tell us a little bit about the regulatory aspects? Just, what kind of approvals you need and before you can deploy this to work in your system?
so for the like the deployment side, we are still working for the kind of the regulatory things. It's like the internally, like done we have done the kind of the model, we have deployed this model, but that is like the certain criteria that we've been we've been doing. But now, before moving forward on a large scale, we have we want to include other aspects, like the including genomics information, and also like kind of the in this research that we have done only one phase. So we want to include the multi-phase as well, where like kind of the we are trying to kind of like the bringing this very comprehensive model. So that's kind of in this process we are at.
Okay, just for the imaging part, without the omics part, do you need the FDA approval, or can you just deploy this at Mayo without the FDA approval?
So we do have our like the internal system that what I know so far, like they definitely I haven't dig out. So once you have like kind of the developed model, then you have to deliver to the team, and they are going to take care of those regulatory and those information and those formalities.
So it will be like a lab developed test then. So it will only work at Mayo, and then you will be able to deploy it without the FDA approval.
Yep.
I see. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So we have another question in the chat from Dan. He's asking, what is your opinion about testing this with a pragmatic randomized control of usual care versus usual care plus AI to assess patient outcomes?
Testing. Well, I mean, like I would say that like the testing is a very important, like kind of the we test our model like because the reason is like if we do not test, then how are we going to know that kind of that model is going to work, like the even outside of the population that you've been using. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, but I think it's a great point. I mean, if you could have a pragmatic randomized control trial, I mean, you can just test it in a very nice way, because right now you have like a, so the patients you have, they are there for liver transplant, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a really good point. So I have a few questions. So because we have some time, so can you tell us a bit more about this TDA, this topological data analysis technology? Are you just like identifying certain geometrical structures and then doing deep learning to extract features from them?
So this is kind of like the traditionally that like the that's my experience. I'm gonna tell you that like the topological data analysis, like kind of the some like the when we go with the deep learning features, and also if we go with the like just traditional features extraction, that what like the I have already tested this one. So when we move forward, like kind of the we with the like the traditional features extraction and the what do we call that topological traditional one, I actually like the not very like the explainable, and what I have seen, and also kind of in my opinion that like the topological data analysis that gives like a lot of information that you can explain in a multiple ways, that like the this feature is going, and also kind of like the you can make the comments and kind of the it's just very that the topological data information that gives like the geometrical pattern and also like explainable features, and there is like kind of multiple ways that you can do. And the good thing is like the for topological data analysis is it's like the you can use like the small data set, like the specifically like the in deep learning task you have to have like the large data set, but this is kind of like the beauty of topological data analysis, I would say.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong here. So you are sort of identifying key anatomical features, key anatomical regions, and then within those regions, you're using AI to extract features. Okay, got it, got it. So because you're extracting features from within those regions, it means that it is more explainable.
Yeah, and like the when you extract those features, the beauty of this topological, so there is like kind of a different. If you are able to see that kind of, just a moment. If you if you are able to see here that kind of the when you like the particular like anatomical region, and
Yeah.
then extract the like simplicial complex and the like the specifically like extract the feature, then you can plot into the barcode, and also you can plot into the persistent homology that gives you like so these features are very three-dimensional, but here they are like the representing in a two-dimensional. So that's a kind of like you are covering like kind of the 3D information and from the images, and those features you can just fed into the deep learning or machine learning, any model that you want.
Excellent. By the way, do you have a I mean, you must have done that, but I'm just going to ask this question anyway. So you have an radiologist evaluate these features for you?
No, like the radiologist also give me like the so radiologist role is like just in the initial part, that kind of the if I am like the in this study, just I want to mention that like the limitations of this study, we have like the use the specific phase, which is like portal venous and arterial phase, like delayed phase. So that's a kind of like the limitation of this work so far. So but still we are kind of trying to develop like the including like a diffusion phase and other kind of phase including, and then kind of developing the comprehensive model. But the radiologist's role is kind of the finding and helping the right series that we are going to involve in our study, and in the last like kind of when we are like kind of the plotting like a occlusion map and kind of any kind of sort of like the map to see the disease. So they are kind of they are helping to that's like the right spot, or that's like the still misclassifying.
Got it. Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? If not, let's thank Dr. Yashbir Singh for his nice presentation. And hopefully we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.